I was kind of hoping my granddaughter would be here, but she's not here today. She's 7, and when I was 7, this was my favorite song in the whole world. My mom's bestie played in an Irish band, and that's how I started picking up the fiddle, and this is a tune called Windmills. So, are there any 7-year-old girls out there? Do we have any? Okay, well, this is for the young ladies out there. This is called Windmills. In days gone by, when the world was much younger, we harnessed the wind to work for our kind. Sailors built tall ships who sailed the wide ocean. Landsmen built mills, the corn for to grind. And around and around and around went the big sails, turning the shafts in the great wooden wheels. Creaking and groaning, the millstones are turning, grinding to flour the good corn from the fields. In Flanders and Spain and the lowlands of Holland, in the kingdom of England, Scotland and Wales, windmills sprang up all along the wide coastlines, ships of the land with their high canvas sails. And around and around and around went the big sails, turning the shafts in the great wooden wheels. Creaking and groaning, the mill wheels are turning, grinding to flour the good corn from the fields. Here we work hard with the good earth, plowing and sowing as the seasons decline, waiting to reap all the rich golden harvest. The miller has idle his mill to repair, and around and around and around went the big sails, turning the shafts in the great wooden wheels. Creaking and groaning, the millstones are turning, grinding to flour the good corn from the fields. Windmills of wood, all blackened by weather, windmills of stone, bleached white in the sun. Windmills like giants already for tilting, windmills that died in the gale and are gone. And around and around and around went the big sails, turning the shafts in the great wooden wheels. Creaking and groaning, the millstones are turning, grinding to flour the good corn from the field. Well, that was sweet and pretty. But, I mean, now we're going to kind of look at the other side of windmills. This is an old English murder ballad, and it has windmills and violin making using human body parts, which if you come to our workshop tomorrow morning, I definitely will not talk about. This is a tune called The Grinding Grain. There were two little sisters walking alone, the grinding grain. Two little sisters walking alone, the grinding And the eldest pushed her sister in the grinding grind. Pushed her sister into the stream the grinding. Pushed her in and watched her drown the grinding grind. Watched her body floating along the grinding. Floats till she comes to the miller's pond the grinding grind. By the deer swims a swan the grinding. Laid her out on the bank to dry the grinding grind. A bow and the fiddle came riding by the grinding. And he's made fiddle banks from your long finger bones the grinding grind. He's made fiddle strings from your long yellow hair the grinding. And he's made a fiddle of hard breastbone the grinding grind. With a sound to pierce a heart of stone the grinding. So the kings run away to the king's hall the grinding grind. There was music, dancing, and all the grinding. And he's laid the fiddle down on the stone the grinding grind. It played so loud it played all alone the grinding grind. And the only tune that the fiddle would play the grinding grind. The only tune that the fiddle would play the grinding the grinding grind.
so you all know what this thing is, it's not a guitar, it's not a mandolin. I guess you could call it a bouzouki or an octave mandolin. Usually when we're traveling through the airport, I call it an octave mandolin for obvious reasons. But that's what it is. It was made by a guy over in Idaho. Where's he? Oregon. There you go. Jason Bowerman, great guy, great builder. And now we're going to tune the 5-string fiddle. Caridwen is going to play. What are we playing? Okay. Caridwen is going to play the 5-string fiddle. And it is a fiddle that she made out of bones and fingers and hair.
Har, I think is how it's pronounced when you make a fiddle out of it. Har. Okay. This is a song which, for the sound man, I definitely need both the vocal and the fiddle going on at the same time. And I call it Reel Me Out. Does any most of you are local, right? Hands up for local Spokane Medical Lake people. Okay, so this was written for Lilac City Fairy Tales, Sharma Shields. It was a fundraiser for Spark Central, which is great, another great art organization, so shout out to them. It gave me this song. This is called Reel Me Out. Oh, it is on our CD. And you might even find a copy of that CD over at the CD tent, which I always forget to mention, but there are CDs. If you still have a CD player. And if you don't have a CD player, there's an even more antiquated thing, which is a book, which Greg wrote, which can be read without electricity. It's amazing. There's always time for tuning and aircraft maintenance. Take two. Yeah. Reel me out. There lived a girl, some people say, who was given a ball, a wheel of thread. She did just fine, following where it led. Reel me out, reel me in, high on spinning wheel, inside the skin, like the spinning wheels of my car. I'm following the side of a road and down a travel path. Cast a line, cast a spell, just what you catch, no one can tell. 'Cause down the road, river to the sea, my heart's a minnow, there's a hook in me. Reel me out, reel me in, high on spinning wheel, inside the skin, like the spinning wheels of my car. I'm following the side of the road and down a travel path. If I fight against my fate, whose defeat do I create? Is this path the battle won, or a thread the sisters cut, woven spun? Reel me out, reel me in, high on spinning wheel, inside the skin, like the spinning wheels of my car. I'm following the sound of the road and down a travel path. Reel me out, reel me in, high on spinning wheel. going to have another tune that Greg wrote, and he has a really long story about it, but I'm going to preface the story by saying that he needs to put his bouzouki away and get his fiddle, which might be key information for sound people.
So this is a tune that I wrote, and let me tell you about it. I wrote it when I got back a fiddle that I had loaned to a friend of mine, a guy named Jack Devereaux, who is a great fiddle builder, fiddle player. And anyway, I'd loaned him this fiddle for a very long time, and then the pandemic came along, and it turned into an even longer time, and I didn't get the fiddle back. I finally got it back. It was not this fiddle. This is one that Caridwen made. It's another fiddle that's worth a lot of money, actually, but he had it for a very long time. I finally got it back and started playing on it, and there was this tune, kind of like he'd left it there. And so I called him up, played it for him just to make sure, like, does this sound familiar? And he was like, I would never play anything that stupid. So I'm saying it's mine, and I'm saying it's not stupid. Actually, none of that happened. And so anyway, I call it The Reunion. And I'll also say it's a Jaybirds tune usually, with like a bluegrass band backing it up. But before it became that, it was a twin fiddle tune, and that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, we've got sun problems here. Hold on. Okay, you can be going.
Norman Blake says you can't play fiddle with guitar fingers.
Bouzouki fingers, though, right?
Same thing.
Same diff.
So we're going to do another twin fiddle tune, and so as you might guess, this is not bluegrass, and nothing we've played so far has been really bluegrass, except that last tune, kind of. And but there's a story there, which is that we met at a bluegrass camp. She doesn't really play bluegrass. As you've heard, she plays like all this other stuff that I've learned how to play play with her, which I never knew anything about until we met. And but now we're going to do a tune that kind of shows how we try to put the differences together. We just learned it, and it's called, the first tune is a Kenny Baker tune that I like a lot, and I said, go learn this. So she did, and she learned it. It's called Spider Bit the Baby. It's one of those tunes with a really unfortunate title that we don't really want to talk about. It would be better if it was in French. But, so yeah, it's called Spider Bit the Baby.
L'araignée a mordu l'enfant.
Yeah, whatever. But Spider Bit the Baby, and then we're going to follow that with a tune that is Caridwen's idea. I don't really know any of the origins of it, but it's a tarantella, and a tarantella is the dance that you do. It's the dance you do when you've been bitten by a tarantula and you want to ward off the dangers of whatever, you know, the bite. So that
The venom.
the venom. That's what the word I was looking for. So so you got the baby's probably not going to do a tarantella because it's baby. But you can just kind of imagine that the tunes don't go together. We're going to make them go together.
I just want to say, somehow we've been married 24 years as of this past Monday. So this song is kind of like our marriage. And I'm deeply thankful to this guy. So anyway, Spider Bit the Baby, Spider Medley. romantics? Sorry. I'm so sorry, Ken. I apologize hugely. We can do a romantic song, or we can do one about dinosaurs, but it requires audience participation. Or a banjo song, or banjo. I'm here in dinosaurs. Well, okay, come back tomorrow for banjo. Oh, I don't have my comb. Damn it. Darn it. Sorry. Usually I do this with a comb, for a comb solo. If somebody backstage wants to get my black purse from backstage, there's a comb in it with paper on it, which is key for the solo, but you have some parts. Okay, so the first one is to do this. Say after me, their brains were small and they died. Okay? We're small and they died. Great. The other thing is that every single one of you needs to take a dinosaur hand trumpet solo. Maybe not. Okay. I never find things in my purse. So we're gonna do this old school. So you put your hands in front of your face like this. Okay, like that. Can you hear that? Right, okay, so when it comes time for the solo, when you see me doing this, I want you all to do a dinosaur solo on your hands. This song is by Mark Graham. He's a fantastic musician, old-time player, Irish player, songwriter from Portland. Brains were small and they died. As I sit in contemplation of the human situation, I often feel a certain sense of pride. For our achievements are many and they're mighty, and the evidence cannot be denied. But my reverie is shaken, for my thoughts are often taken to a tragedy that happened long ago. When they roamed through the land, beings awesome and grand, the fabulous dinosaurs. They were creatures in a manner quite reptilian, in their unique and stylish ways, and their numbers could be reckoned in the millions. But there are zero of these heroes in the world today. They had music, art, and fashion. They had dinosauric passion, and I think they'd be enraged and mortified. Are you ready? That when they're mentioned today, it is only to say their brains were small and they died. Okay. That Mother Earth could not avoid became the agent of their premature demise. I understand these things can happen, and really, who are we to criticize when we'll pay most any price to have the ultimate device to ensure our perfect global suicide? I would venture instead that the tinier head is where that humanoid brain resides. And then when we're gonna reach, we'll start to crumble until nothing can be found in 10 million years. Some other guys may stumble across our fossils, and some expert will begin to expound in some scientific study to his cockroach. Science buddies have the evidence can never be denied. They were big, dumb, and slow. They couldn't go with the flow. Their brains were small and they died. They were big, dumb, and slow. They couldn't go with the flow.